Hi! The Observatory quest doesn't have any quest nor stat requirements. I just need it. 3 planks? There are 4 plank spawns in 2 locations. One is in level 18 Wilderness, in the Graveyard of Shadows, and the second location is next to the Barbarian Agility course. 1 bronze bar and 1 molten glass. To obtain molten glass, you will need 2 items, a bucket of sand and soda ash. To obtain a bucket of sand, you will need to use an empty bucket on a sand pit. There's one in Xanris, Yanil, and Entrana. And to obtain soda ash, you will need to burn seaweed. Seaweed can be caught via big net fishing, or they spawn on the islands of Karamja and Entrana. For the recommendations, since we don't need to fight anything during this quest, is just bring your boots of lightness and nothing that will weigh you down. Maybe 1 piece of food if you want to be as safe as possible, since we'll need to pass an aggressive level 42 and potentially also poisonous spiders. For the teleports, just 1 after the quest is completed. I think I'm gonna teleport to Camelot. Where we can start this quest is south of West Ardoyne. So from East Ardoyne, head southwest to the battlefield. Do not cross the river and continue southwest to the observatory. There, let's enter the building, that's the wrong screen, and talk to the professor. Let's select option 2 and then 1. I would like to have a look through your telescope. Since the family of goblins have moved here, they have caused nothing but trouble. And last week, the telescope was tampered with. Select option 1. Sounds interesting. What can I do? And he will now ask us to fetch 3 planks, a bronze bar, and molten glass. Let's talk to the professor 3 times to hand these 3 different items. Give him the planks, talk to him again, give him the bronze, and then talk to him again to give him the molten glass. Next, we need a lens mold. To do so, climb down the ladder inside of the building to enter the dungeon. Here, go east and follow this dungeon. Keep following the dungeon until you see a keep gate. Keep this one in mind and just pass it. Keep following the dungeon westward until you can't go any further. Keep going west, and when the path splits between east and south, choose south. Keep going south until you see a big crossroad, I suppose, like a connection of all different passageways. Here, let's first go northeast. There are 2 more paths. Take the southern one and climb up the ladder to the observatory. Here is an anti-poison spawn. Pick this one up, we might need this, then climb back down and go back to that intersection. And from the intersection, let's now go southeast. Follow this path to a chest. Open it. Then right-click and search, and click to continue. Make sure that you verify that you have the keep key in your inventory. Next, once we have this, let's walk back to the keep gate, which is basically at the entrance of this dungeon. So go back west to the intersection and take the northwestern path and follow this back to the start. If you open and search another chest, not the furthest one away from the start, then a poison spider will spawn and attack you. So this is why I first got an anti-poison, so if you happen to do that, then you'll be safe and don't die from poison. Let's walk back to save on some red energy. This way we don't have to fight the level 42 goblins and we can just simply run away. Once you've made it back to the keep gate, let's use the keep key on the gate. This will make the goblin aggressive, but just ignore him. In the southwestern corner, search the sacks to find the lens mold. Turn on our run energy, open the gate, and let's go back east, back to the ladder. Wow, we didn't even get attacked. Nice. Let's go back upstairs and give this lens mold to the professor. Then I think we're almost done with the quest already. I think the difficulty of this quest was just getting the items required and also getting to the location. Alright, the professor's crafting level isn't high enough, so he now wants us to use the lens mold on the molten glass to make a blue lens. Let's talk to the professor again to give it to him, and he will ask us to meet him in the observatory. This is the same location where we have found the anti-poison. So, climb back down and follow the eastern dungeon back to the end. Back to the intersection and take the northeastern path there. A little fun fact that originally there was a level 10 crafting requirement to do this quest, to be able to make this lens. But because the level requirement was never tested, when they translated the entire game from RuneScape Classic Code to RuneScript in RuneScape 2, then they just removed the crafting requirement. Once you made it back to the intersection, let's take the northeastern path and climb up the ladder. Here, let's use the telescope, and you'll see a constellation. And this constellation is random for everyone, and your quest reward will depend on what constellation that you see. If you don't like the reward from the quest, then just simply close the window and use the telescope again. Click to continue again and you'll see a different constellation, giving you a different reward. Just keep closing the window and using the telescope again over and over again until you get the reward that you want. I think that for most people the difference between the 12 rewards isn't really too significant enough to care or spend time on choosing the reward. Maybe you could try to find Scorpio to get a free weapon poison, which is only obtainable after someone gets like 60 or something herblore. Besides from that, I think only combat restricted accounts would care. Yes, this is Scorpio. Okay, nice. Close the window and select the first option. I can see a constellation. Click to continue, and congratulations, you have completed the Observatory quest. You are awarded with 2 quest points, 2250 crafting experience, an uncut sapphire, and a random reward. This can be 875 combat experience or an additional random item. To get out of here, you either need to go through the entire dungeon again and walking all the way back to Artie, or use a teleport. Okay, thanks, bye! Almost completely forgot. After you've started or completed the Observatory quest, and you have a clue scroll that has a coordinate step, to be able to complete this scroll, you must have a sextant and a chart in your inventory. Take your hard coordinate clue scroll with you to the Observatory Professor to see a new message option. Select to ask about treasure trails, and he will say that you will need a sextant that you can get by talking to Murphy at the fishing trawler in Port Khazard, and a watch from Brother Kojo in the clock tower. If you want more, for example, if you want a second one as a placeholder for in your bank, they can do the drop trick. When you have both the sextant and the watch, return to the Observatory Professor, talk to him about treasure trails, and he will give you a chart, which is the third and a final item that you will need to have in your inventory to be able to solve coordinate clues.